Today I'm in Campbeltown at one of my farm mentors' farms here, and a bit of an example of spending time rather than money. They wanted this skate park built for their kids to play on, and in return for that they had a hen house that was their first ever hen house to use for about 200 hens, and they've swapped that in terms of my time building this skate park. I'm getting to go away with this skate. Oh! Get a new skate park to go.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm quite lucky to be able to have one.
So I'm just heading back from Campbeltown after getting the skate park finished off successfully. I didn't quite get through the intro properly before Rory distracted me by almost crashing. But we were lucky enough, a friend of a friend built skate parks for a living. An awesome company called Vision Ramps in Glasgow, and they decided to take about 4 days out of their really busy schedule building a skate park in Glasgow to come and help and make sure it was done absolutely perfectly. So that was really fun for me to be able to work with professionals to get the job done absolutely brilliantly. And that's the hen house earned. So I think I explained that basically swap my time in helping to build the skate park in return for the hen house from them. So that's basically what this vlog is about. There's two things that you're short of when you're a small farmer, market gardener, smallholder, whatever you want to call it, and it's time and it's money. And quite a lot of the time you're struggling more for time than for money, especially in the summer months. It's such a short growing season in Scotland. But also quite a lot of the time you run out of money very quickly. The equipment needed to set up a farm to start with it's a heck of a lot of money. So that's what we try and do, is try and shortcut wherever we can that, and try and make sure that wherever we can spend a bit of time to save a bit of money, we do that. Just got quite an exciting message from my auntie to say that somewhere near Narrowboat Farm there was someone who wanted to get rid of a couple of polytunnels from a property they just purchased, a disused garden centre they bought as their home, and they're not interested in growing at all. So they basically said whoever can come and spend the time to dismantle these polytunnels can get themselves a bit of a bargain. So I've always got to look out for that, because as I say, always short of money, always looking for bargains. And polytunnel space is such valuable real estate when it comes to growing food. So you're going to check that out. But before I go over there today, heading over to some boater friends who are about an hour's cruise west of Narrowboat Farm. Unfortunately the canal is shut west of Narrowboat Farm just now while they fix it. But I'm going over to hook up them. We're going to head out in their boats. I'm going to do a bit of filming there as well for the next vlog, because the next vlog is going to be about boat life. The best bits of living on a boat, and some of the experiences you might have if you decide that you'd like to live on a boat. I'm at a disused garden centre not far from Narrowboat Farm, and I've basically managed to get myself a bit of a bargain on some disused polytunnels. So I've actually bought 2 of these big polytunnels from someone who bought a property where the garden centre was, and now we're going to go about dismantling them. As you can see, the tunnel here is super overgrown. It looks fairly ruined, but you can look past that sometimes and see that there's actually a really good kit here. I've had a good look at the fixtures and fastenings, and it looks like I could rebuild this to make a decent tunnel. I mean, the cover, don't know if I can see, yeah, it's really green. It's pretty much a goner, but what I intend to do with this smaller one is actually to use it as a sheltered run for our hens when we get them. So if bird flu arrives and you have to keep your hens indoors, we've effectively got a big indoor area for them. And also to have a dry area right outside the hen house would be better for them, and mean they trail less muck into the hen house. And the third idea behind it is being, if we have to go away for a day or two, then we've got an area the hens can come out and free range into. So in the end we managed to get both of the tunnels broken down onto a trailer back to Narrowboat Farm. Fortunately the beautiful time lapse that I made of all of that happening got deleted, so don't actually have any footage of seeing it, but it went really well. No real seized bolts, no massive issues, a team of 4 really helpful people, and in one day we managed to get 2 polytunnels back to Narrowboat Farm for the cost of about £400 each, which is approximately 10 times less than the cost of the new polytunnel. I'll take you over to have a look at the new polytunnel to kind of see how that weighs up, whether it's better to spend the money or the time. So this is the brand new polytunnel that we bought for Narrowboat Farm a couple of years ago. Now this polytunnel cost 10 times more than the polytunnels I've just broken down and brought here. Is it worth 10 times more? No, to be frank, but partly we were forced to spend that money on it because we were the lucky recipients of a farm startup grant, and they stipulated we had to spend £5,300 on this polytunnel. Now it comes with automatic watering, it's got vents, it's got fans, it's got an amazing setup, and it's brand new, so everything works perfectly. This sheet, which costs £1,000 in itself, which goes over it, should last a good 5 to 10 years. If I'd had the choice, that's one where I probably would have spent the time rather than the money. But if you have to rely on something every day, I think that's, for me, is the key. If you really need it to be working and working perfect, and it's the backbone of your operation, then that's when I think it's better to spend the money than the time. And this polytunnel really is the backbone. It's right in the middle of our veg growing area, and it's really where we start our day. It's where a lot of our tools are, a lot of the equipment, and this is where a lot of the most profitable crops that we grew in 2019 came out of, especially the tomatoes. Our main shed at Narrowboat Farm is an example of a bit of a compromise between time and money. So for example, the south facing greenhouse where we start all of our veggies on there, that was 100% free. That was another Gumtree gamble really. We turned up, but this was someone who'd had this on the side of their house. They didn't want it anymore, and they said if we could dismantle it, take it away, leave no trace, they'd give it for absolutely free. The shed itself actually is well, I thought an absolutely monster shed. Decided that this would be a one-off opportunity to invest quite a bit of money in a really important bit of infrastructure. But we didn't get it built for us. We built this ourselves, and we learned how to build sheds that way as well. So it was quite an interesting compromise, because we probably spent about £10,000 on all the materials, but also spent about 3 months of solid build time. So in essence, if you bought that and got it built for you, probably about £20,000 rather than 10. So that was a bit of a money saver for us. One of the ways that we spend time to save a bit of money at Narrowboat Farm is with the fencing. Every single piece of fencing you see here was actually made of recycled pallets. We spent loads of time finding exactly the right type of pallets with the right structure, the right strength that we could recycle. Spent loads of time as well breaking them apart and fix them up, but it saved us thousands of pounds in terms of the fencing requirements. There's a lot of problems with rabbits around here, and we really didn't want to have that problem with the veg. We wanted to make sure we could keep the rabbits out of there, but the cost of that was going to be absolutely prohibitive. So that's where a bit of time saved a lot of money. An example of where I perhaps should have spent more money and less time is with this Massey Ferguson 560, which is the tractor that we bought to get the farm up and running. Now, a compact tractor, brand new, that could do all of the jobs that we needed to do on the farm would have been £20,000 or £30,000. I just wasn't prepared to do that, so I spent the time scouring for a compact tractor of a certain age, and this 1982 560 came to us. Now, this has been one of possibly the biggest mistakes I've made with spending money versus time, because whilst this only cost £7,500, it's already way over £10,000 now in total with all the repair bills and that kind of thing. And again, like with the polytunnel, I think if something's going to be the backbone of your operation, if you need it to work 100% to get your day's work done, that's where I think you need to spend the money. And we didn't spend the money on the tractor, and it has come back to haunt us. I've managed to get quite a lot of Gumtree bargains for the farm over the years that we've been setting up Narrowboat Farm, and this here has been one of the best ones we've got. This is a walk-behind tractor. So it's called a tractor because it has a gearbox and a power takeoff, and it can run various implements rather than just being a simple rotavator. And this cost about £1,000 off Gumtree, which was quite a lot, but I managed to get all the attachments as a bit of a bargain as well. And compared to the £7,500 main tractor, this thing has been so much better value for money. So I think the conclusion that I've come to in terms of when to spend time and when to spend money, it really depends on how reliant you are on that item, and also to the extent at which you can substitute time for money. So for example, with our fencing, it was easy enough for us to substitute time for money. With breaking down the polytunnels, we had the time available to spend a day to break them down to save quite a lot of money. But for other items like our shed and our main polytunnel and the tractor, where we should have spent money over time because it's something you really rely on, you can end up losing a lot of time by not spending the money on the things that are really core to your business. Hope you found that interesting, and if you would like to follow us, please hit the subscribe button for our YouTube channel, share the video amongst your friends, and we'll see you soon for the next one.